Thank you for taking 15 minutes out of your busy day to watch this video and to receive some information regarding faith formation and opportunities here at Hosanna. To begin with, Pastor Myers is going to share with us a brief history of the structure of Lutheranism in the United States. Then he will share with us the structure that we see in today's society.
Well, I want to share just a bit of history about Lutheranism in the United States. It's a history of immigration. The Lutherans were in Northern Europe. We had immigrants that came from Germany, from the Scandinavian countries, and when they came to this country, obviously many didn't know the language, and so they would establish enclaves where as members of congregations they would speak the language that they were familiar with, which made sense. I know my previous congregation up until 1939 they still had the services in Norwegian. Well, there's great strength in that they found strength in the community. They were able to bond with each other and to worship with each other, but there's also a great problem with that in that it served the community but not the greater community. And there's an image for that. It looks something like this. It would be a circle and you had Christ at the center. That was certainly what the church was about. But it was closed. It was a closed circle, and the emphasis was on belonging. If you knew that language, you were a part of that community. It was about bonding. You were in a new country and you needed to find strength, so you were bonding with the community you're familiar with. It was about loyalty. You were loyal to your heritage. We still have some of that. A number of congregations still have lutefisk dinners, which was carrying on those traditions. But the problem was that this was a closed circle, and if you're on the outside, you were closed off unless you were a part of that community. And it was not inclusive. In our time, we're 2 and 3 generations away from immigrant church. In our time, we need to find ways of making this a circle that's not exclusive but inclusive. So the image of the church today should look more like this. It would be a broken line so that people can come from the outside in and then from the church out. Christ is still the center of our worship life together, but it needs to be inclusive. So there's this constant flow of people in and out the church. I think our mission statement is so clear on that. We're gathered to grow, we come into the community, then we're sent out to serve outside. And the emphasis here is to build trust within the community and then also in the greater community. It needs to be a place of joining. So that people feel free to be a part of the community, and it needs to be a place of bridging. So it's bridging from the faith community, the congregation, and then the community of which you're a part, and also the greater world. And so what we're trying to do is to live up to our mission statement, that we are a congregation who cares for each other, cares deeply about the gospel of Jesus Christ, but also is looking for ways of being permeable into the community. And we're looking at that right now here at Hosanna with trying to find ways to make this possible, looking at new opportunities for ministry. So I hope you'll feel a part of this effort we're doing to be more open to the community. This is certainly our heritage as Lutherans, but this needs to be who we are today in our world. So we'll be looking at ways of making this possible.
As Pastor Myers shared, the previous structure of the church served the immediate community, but not necessarily the greater community. Now, churches across the state and country are assessing and evaluating ways to serve the greater community. The gospel, of course, is still the message. The way in which we share this message, however, is changing. Barb Shep, who has worked with Hosanna Youth for a number of years, has recognized this changing landscape and has led the youth team in asking what this means for faith formation, for families, and for individuals. One opportunity that Barb will introduce is the opportunity to participate in a year-long coaching contract with a coach from Vibrant Faith. Here's more information from Barb.
For the past 10 years, I've had the pleasure of being part of the Hosanna Youth Group, either as a parent or as a leader. And throughout those years, I have witnessed changes in faith formation and how it takes place. What we may have experienced in the past has taken on a new and different dimensions that reflect the changes in family schedules and dynamics. Families are busy with many activities that their children take part of. Both parents are working, and students are taking higher level of classes, and the list can go on and on. The question has come up many times of how do we reach out to our youth and families in their ever-changing world and assist with faith formation. In fact, that question has been on the minds of many congregations, and this May, the Southeast Minnesota Synod is having their Synod Assembly, and the theme is Equipping Congregations to Follow Jesus into the Changing World. Our church leadership is acknowledging that there are many different avenues for faith formation, and congregations need assistance in finding those and maneuvering through those. With that in mind, our team is exploring ways to assist families, congregation members, and the church staff on facilitating faith formation in a changing world. We are excited about the opportunity that Vibrant Faith Coaching can assist us and be part of our journey for faith formation, relationship building, and movement toward a culture of a vibrant, active faith. We are looking at the positive aspects of Hosanna's faith family and find ways that will enhance faith formation for all of our members. Look for more information to come in the near future, and please keep Hosanna and our continuing endeavor of faith formation in your prayers. I'd like to end with a quote from Vibrant Faith that I thought was very pertinent. It says, "Many churches get so fixated on getting people to show up that they forget the purpose of being the church, that people experience the transforming love of Jesus Christ. We experience this through relationships that are embedded into our lives and give us a frequent revealing of the person of Jesus."
So a coaching contract is probably not something we've used often in the church setting. In fact, the company that is providing this coaching opportunity, Vibrant Faith, is a company that has been around since 1987, but just in the past few years, they have refocused their ministry efforts. Their previous expertise was in providing product to churches, curriculum, ministry tools, and seminars on how to use those items. Today, however, they have realized that the changing landscape lends itself to something so much more than the same curriculum for everyone. Lori Meidel, our council president, is going to take the next section of this video to briefly explain the coaching process that Vibrant Faith provides.
I'd like to share a little bit with you as far as what a relationship with Vibrant Faith would involve here at Hosanna. Most of the coaching contracts are for a year, which allows time for Vibrant Faith to assess our congregation as a whole. They also would do a coaching visit, and then they would assist in creating a ministry plan for Hosanna to move forward. This allows time for the coaches to get to know our congregation, and they actually become an extension of the staff here at Hosanna. The services are actually tailored so they meet the size of our congregation and also the structure of the congregation. They want to work with congregations who are ready to move forward and have the courage to face the challenging ministry landscape of today. We would connect together by building trust and community through a relationship between the coaches and the staff and the members of Hosanna. Usually it involves an on-site visit with the coaches or the coach who would plan to do learning workshops. He might plan to do a retreat with staff and also with members of the church. There would be maybe a brainstorming session with the leaders, and they may also do worship with us on Sunday morning. And then finally to develop a written plan so we can move forward in our ministry. Part of Vibrant Faith's plan would be to identify where we're at and where we want to go by conducting the assessment. And the assessment is something that we would like each member to do so we can determine what Hosanna is doing that matters most for the faith formation, and also what issues are facing us is in regard to a lifelong faith formation for our congregation. They'd look at our mission, our priorities, how are we practicing now, and what is the energy of the church. And we know that we have a lot of energy here every Sunday, even during the week, all the activities that we do both inside the walls of Hosanna and also outside the walls. They'd look at what is working and what is worth holding on to, and what are some of the things that maybe could be reinvented or adjusted just a little bit, and what are our strengths and challenges. They would align with our assets and conversations, and they also look at ways to connect the gospel to people of all ages in this changing world, but trying not to change the message that's being sent. We may want to look at new ways to form faith at all ages and all life stages here at Hosanna. Vibrant Faith is going to help to give us tools and resources to work with and to make consistent progress toward the desired outcome. The roadmap is just a working plan that is updated on a monthly or quarterly basis. So once the roadmap or the ministry plan is initiated, Vibrant Faith would then help to guide the staff and the leaders of Hosanna. They would have monthly scheduled online coaching sessions with the leaders and the designated members. And then there would also be interaction and support for the leaders by way of email, texting, Facebook, lots of different media methods. And then finally, we look to see the end results. And so once we've got the ministry plan and we've started going, everyone is accountable for the goals that have been set. And so Vibrant Faith would meet regularly or touch base regularly with the staff at Hosanna, and they would look to make sure that everyone's accountable or meeting the goals that have been set. It's a quarterly coaching progress reports are done, summarizing what's been accomplished throughout the year, and that takes place on a regular basis with the goal of seeing the end results for Hosanna. And what can we as members do to support the coaching process? We can pray for the leaders of Hosanna and the mission and ministry of our congregation, share insights and wisdom by participating in the surveys and forums. And we can also wonder what is God up to and where he might be leading Hosanna. And you might want to consider ways you plan to grow in your lifelong faith journey this year. And finally, using your time, talents, and treasure to help Hosanna fulfill its mission and goals.
With the title of coaching, it was probably of no surprise to you that this year-long process is similar to the structure that coaches utilize in any setting. This process includes assessment, education and learning, mapping out a plan of action, implementation, and then, of course, evaluation. The coach that we would contract with from Vibrant Faith guides us through this process. He does not provide a product, but a service to help us effectively maneuver our ministries in this changing landscape. Like any coaching position, the success of such efforts rely largely on those participating. We are hopeful that Hosanna members will be interested and willing to participate, and that ministry teams will view this as an opportunity to grow in ministry together. As you have questions about this coaching process, please feel free to ask Lori Meidel, Barb Shep, or myself.